So are you one of those people who's been avoiding media for all the wrong reasons? Because chances are the thing you're most afraid of, the camera, the exposure, the pressure, making mistakes, saying the wrong things, those worries might not be necessary at all. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, but your voice still matters. You don't have to be the face of a campaign, but you could be the creative force behind the message. All you have to do is show up as you, your skills, your sincerity, and your story. Because sometimes the media world needs someone behind the scenes, even more than it needs another face on the screen. So if this episode sparks something in you, and if you're thinking, hey, maybe I do have a place in media, maybe I need to just start small, I hope you could take the next step, even if it's small. Start somewhere. A caption, a blog post, a voice memo, a single script. Don't wait to feel ready. You are already ready. You're there. Well, hey there. Welcome to Media Savvy, the podcast that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to get noticed by media and become the go-to expert that they keep coming back to. I'll be sitting down with successful writers, producers, and entrepreneurs to learn the tools and tactics they use to build their reputation and in turn boost their business. I'm your host, Taub-Dix, and I've been working with top-tier media outlets for more than 30 years, anywhere from traditional print publications to online and social platforms. And I'm sharing my nutrition guidance without gimmicks. But you don't have to be a dietitian for this podcast to speak to you. Through my one-to-one conversations, you'll learn how to build a strategy to get your name in the news and establish yourself as an authority in your field, no matter what the industry. With Media Savvy, I'm on a mission to inspire, motivate, and empower you to have the confidence and tools you need to shine in the spotlight. Are you ready? Let's get Media Savvy. Hey there. Welcome back to the Media Savvy podcast. I'm your host, Taub-Dix, and I am here to assure you that you don't have to love the spotlight and be the center of attention to make media work for you. This episode is part 2 of our Mike Shy Money Smart conversation. And today we're talking about how to build your brand and your bank account off camera. Yes, you can create an exciting media presence and make money without having to dress up. I know that for many of you, the thought of going live or being on video makes you want to run for the hills. You are not alone. The good news, some of the most powerful and profitable media opportunities happen behind the scenes. We'll talk about how to write for brands and media outlets, how to get paid for your expertise without ever picking up a mic, and how to position yourself as a trusted resource, even if you'd rather not be on camera. So if you've ever thought media isn't for me, this episode might just change your mind and maybe change your income too. Now, if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, maybe hit pause, go back, because that's where I shared the story behind this whole series. What I learned from having my very own booth at a big conference, and what I learned again and again from dietitians and other pros who stopped by. Spoiler alert, it wasn't about how to pitch better or which mic to buy. It was about fear. Fear of being seen. Fear of not being polished enough, fear of not belonging in the spotlight. So if this sounds familiar, part 1 will give you the mindset shift you need. And once you've got that in place, this episode is where we could roll up our sleeves and look at the incredible roles you don't see. The off-camera, behind-the-scenes media opportunities that can help you build credibility, make an impact, and yes, even make money. No ring light required. So let me walk you through some of these off-camera opportunities so you can take a closer look at the roles that you don't see. Because like you, some people enjoy the comfort of being in the background, and there's nothing wrong with that. Pajamas, anyone? Just wait till you listen to this. Now I want to share with you a few of my favorite ways to get your messages out there without needing even a drop of makeup. You may want to grab a pen and paper to take some notes. Okay, one thing, you could do voiceovers and narration. They are hidden gems. If you've ever watched a cooking video or a brand explainer, like how-to videos or Instagram reels with tips, or even guided meditations and thought, hey, that voice sounds nice. Well, yeah, someone got paid to record that. And it very well could have been someone in pajamas and slippers recording from their kitchen table. You don't need a fancy studio. You don't need acting skills. You just need to sound like a real person who could explain things clearly, concisely, and in an inviting way. I don't know if you have kids or a partner or friends that sometimes need explaining. This is what you need to do. You just need to be you and care about the messages that you're talking about. Have you ever heard a voice in a commercial that immediately felt familiar, even though you have no idea who that person is? That's the power of a great voice. It could feel warm, trustworthy, and captivating, drawing you in and holding your attention, all without ever seeing a face behind it. That could be you. Absolutely. And here's the best part. You don't need expensive gear to get started. Instagram has a built-in voiceover feature that makes it super simple. When you're recording a reel, just tap voiceover on the editing screen, hit record, and then make your message magnetic. Of course, there are expensive mics and equipment you could buy, but you really don't need to, especially if you're just starting out. In fact, your phone alone could be your gateway. Record your message using a simple voice memo app, then layer it over videos with free or low-cost editing apps like CapCut, InShot, or even iMovie. This type of behind-the-scenes work is perfect for anyone who wants to share ideas or educate or inspire without ever being on camera. I know I said that already, but I can't help myself. No lips moving, no face showing, just your voice being heard. So whether you're narrating a recipe video or giving quick tips or adding personality to a slideshow, your voice alone can create a powerful connection. Besides narration and voiceovers, you can do hand-in-pan videos. Maybe you haven't heard of that term yet, but I'll bet you've seen tons of them. I'm talking about those overhead videos where you watch a recipe come together right before your eyes. A spoon stirring, a sauce pouring, a perfectly sliced avocado landing in a bowl, chocolate chips flying in the air. Yeah, it's like culinary choreography. Aren't these hand-in-pan videos captivating? Yeah, they really are. I love them. And guess what? There's no face, just food, and the hands that make them. And sometimes you don't even see the hands. All you need is decent lighting, clean hands, a phone, maybe a tripod, and a few editing skills. You could start with one video and build from there. You could overlay text describing what's in the recipe, or overlay your voice and then use captions to describe your steps. So if you enjoy cooking or crafting or demoing a process step by step, this is a creative and visual way to display your own recipes or to work with brands. This is big. You could partner with brands and show how their products fit into a recipe or a routine without ever stepping in front of the camera. There you go again. You could use the voiceover techniques or use captions on your photos and videos. And I just want to underscore this is so important because keep in mind that when scrolling through social media, most people watch their phones. They don't listen to them. So be sure to add closed captions so that your device could depict what your voice is really saying and what your pictures are showing, but you could just do it as text. But maybe you're not ready to do all this for yourself. Maybe creating recipes is not your jam. Well, voiceovers aren't just about narrating your own videos. You could become a virtual assistant for someone who is the face on the screen, a content creator, a brand spokesperson, or even a podcaster. Not everyone has the time or the skill to manage their content, especially those who are constantly face forward. By stepping in and handling the behind the scenes work, you could free them up to shine while building a reliable, flexible, and lucrative career for yourself. By helping them stay consistent and clear with their messaging, you could land a regular gig doing things like writing captions that fit their voice and brand, creating beautiful graphics to match their content, prepping talking points, doing food styling for them for a video shoot, or even shooting their videos yourself, organizing their posting schedule to keep them visible and relevant, These are all behind the scenes activities that involve media, and they are essential. So don't think of them as second class because they're behind the scenes. They are really not. They're so important, and there's somebody out there that really needs you. I myself have worked with virtual assistants for many years, and their help was invaluable, especially back when I was postponing on social media every single day. At that time, they handled the graphics while I focused on writing all of my own content. That's something that I never handed over to anyone else. I had to write my own post. It was required for me that it be in my voice. These days, I prefer to create my own posts. And surprisingly, I've come to really enjoy making my own graphics too. It might sound funny, but since I don't get a chance to paint as often as I like to, designing graphics has become kind of a fun way for me to tap into my artistic side while still creating something that supports my business. To make this work, you'll need a few key skills, most of which you could learn for free or for very little. Canva, for example, that's Canva. If you don't know it, you should definitely check it out. Start with the free version, or you could upgrade to Canva Pro. It's only about $13 a month, and in my opinion, it does pay to upgrade because they offer so many more options when you're creating graphics. It's perfect for thumbnails, graphics, social posts, and this is great stuff that could go along with your audio content. In fact, you can even schedule social media posts on Canva now. Free apps like CapCut or InShot make it easy to add audio to your visuals, trim clips, and add captions. For me, I either just use the Instagram app, or if I record a podcast, I use the captions on their editing program. You could learn how to write captions or hooks that will help support your clients in creating content that truly connects. Listen to my podcast on creating sound bites to help you make magnetic messages. Use tools like Google Drive to help manage content calendars and deadlines, especially if you're communicating with somebody else who's working in media. With just a few tools and a little practice, you could record your own voice to create compelling content without ever showing your face. You could build a portfolio that attracts paying clients who need help bringing their messages to life. Start small, then grow into a trusted go-to partner for brands and creators. Your voice could be the one that people recognize and trust, even if they never see your face. I know so many people who started out as virtual assistants for other people in media. They learned from them. They were inspired by them. And then they went on to build their own businesses. I see it all the time in the people who come to me for advice and for coaching about working with media. Okay, now let's talk about content writing because it's one of the most valuable ways to get involved in media. Brands, publications, wellness platforms, they all need articles, blog posts, newsletters, emails, how-to guides, social captions, you name it, they need it. And most of that, it's written quietly behind the scenes. I've written for top-tier outlets where my name was visible, but I may have written that post or article while I was sitting in a waiting room or relaxing on my couch with a cup of coffee. The messages were mine, the voice was mine, the paycheck was mine, and the face, without any makeup, was nowhere to be found. If you could explain complex topics more simply, if you could sound human, not robotic, if you know how to educate and inspire, you already have what it takes to be a strong writer in media. The key is learning how to speak the language of your audience. And I know I've mentioned this a zillion times, and you need to know how to pitch. Check out Media Savvy episodes that talk about pitching for stellar tips that journalists and editors look for, and listen to the journalists who actually received these pitches and see what it takes to get your name in the news. And trust me, without so many wacky influence, with people are desperate for creative and credible information right now. Another job that most people don't think about is consulting and reviewing information. Let me explain what I mean by this. Sometimes a brand already has a spokesperson or a campaign in place, but they need someone in the background to keep things credible and compliant. Power doesn't always hold a mic. Sometimes it holds a red pen, and that's where you might come in. You could be doing things like reviewing scripts for accuracy, providing feedback on claims or language, helping shape an overall message before it goes public. This kind of behind-the-scenes consulting is something I've done for brands so many times. And yes, this is often just a part of the scope of work that I do along with other spokesperson activities, but not always. Sometimes a brand has called me in just to see if what they want to promote is okay to get out there. It's not a perfect role for someone who wants to guide the story without being the one telling it out loud, but it is perfect for you if you want to be more quiet about it, but you still want to get paid and you still want to get recognized. And also, it's still giving you experience to work with media and working with brands. It's just a first step. And let me say this, brands love having someone they can depend on so that you could say, let's not say that, here's a better way to phrase it. They don't want fluff. They want a trusted voice of reason. That's what I've become over the years, a connector between the brand and the public and the professionals in our field. That may be quiet, but it's powerful. Like consulting, another area that doesn't get enough attention is script writing and story development. Whether it's podcasts, YouTube channels, a webinar series, they all need someone to help map out the flow. They need someone to write the questions, structure the segments, even provide backup facts or talking points. I've helped write scripts and develop outlines for other experts who are going on camera, especially for some of my students. And let me tell you, sometimes that's the most fun. You're shaping the story without having to be on. And it's beyond rewarding when you're the person they thank when they say, that interview went so smoothly, I couldn't have done it without you. Let's face it, the media world needs all kinds. So are you one of those people who's been avoiding media for all the wrong reasons? Because chances are, the thing you're most afraid of, the camera, the exposure, the pressure, making mistakes, saying the wrong things, those worries might not be necessary at all. You don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, but your voice still matters. You don't have to be the face of a campaign, but you could be the creative force behind the message. All you have to do is show up as you, your skills, your sincerity, and your story. Because sometimes the media world needs someone behind the scenes, even more than it needs another face on the screen. So if this episode sparks something in you, and if you're thinking, hey, maybe I do have a place in media, maybe I need to just start small, I hope you could take the next step, even if it's small. Start somewhere, a caption, a blog post, a voice memo, a single script. Don't wait to feel ready. You are already ready. You're there. You don't need another degree or a certificate. What you need is courage, creativity, and the strategies we talked about today to turn your ideas into impact. So we've just pulled back the curtain on some of the most powerful ways to work in media without ever stepping in front of the camera. From voiceovers to hand-in-pan videos, from script writing to consulting, the opportunities are out there and they're wide open for you. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, Bonnie, I get it, but I still don't know where to start, that's exactly where my one-to-one coaching comes in. This is the work I love most, helping you find your unique path into media, whether that's in the spotlight or behind the scenes. So if you're ready to stop hiding and finally put your expertise to work, either DM me the word media on Instagram at BTD Media, or if Instagram is not your thing, just email me at mediasavvybtd@gmail.com. And let's talk about how I can help you get where you want to go. And hey, don't forget, you don't need to be seen to be heard. You just need to speak up in your own way, because it's time to finally stop hiding behind the idea that media is only for those people. It is for you too. Whew. Thank you so much for being here for part 2 of this series. And if this spoke to you and you want more, please hit the subscribe button and please leave me a comment. You know how much I love to hear from you, and I read and appreciate every one of your words. Please follow me for more tips on Instagram at BTD Media, and I'd love to hear about your journey. And by the way, you are already looking mighty media savvy today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.